Okay, so welcome everyone. This is our first session of Microlearning live session. So we are starting this new series where you're able to we'll do a quick microlearning, 1 hour, intense kind of a one topic. And the idea is that we'll use the chat to ask any questions. So we've got a couple of people that are monitoring the chat. Fadi Hindi will be presenting on the topic of from zero to good basic prompting. So he's gonna kind of present couple of ideas, and I think it'll be more of a demo. But Fadi, maybe you can present a little bit more about what the topic would look like. For any participants at this point, it's just a live session where you're watching Fadi, and any questions that you may have, please go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll be monitoring the chat. I've got myself and a few other people. And then we'll, Fadi at one point will be able to see it, but if not, we'll definitely read out the questions. So with that, Fadi, take it away.
Thank you very much, Dima, and welcome everybody to the session, this microlearning session. We actually came up with a set of topics earlier this week on the Academy, talking to some of the ambassadors and some of the community members, and we said, using the slide event feature, maybe we can start looking at these microlearnings kind of theory, if you will, the theory of microlearning. Because one of the things that we've focused on in the Academy is to be able to give these kind of small doses of learning that really make a big impact. And a lot of the courses that we do through the plans that are available on the platform are all focused on mobility and microlearning. So welcome to this kind of experiment, I guess, of our first in a series of microlearning sessions. Hopefully we can do this. We're thinking about doing this every week or every other week. So stay tuned in. Thank you for creating an account on the Academy. You'll be able to see the announcements. And actually in the topic areas, as I go through, give us ideas for what else you'd like to learn. What is it that you'd like to get insights on? So for today, I had grand plans for coming up with something really smart and professorial for the microlearning, and I've actually decided not to. I've actually decided to make it conversational, practical, and really focused on tell me how to use this like now. And I don't want to. The theory is all good. We go do that. We do that in the NC State course, and we do it at UNC, etc. But I think, given that it's only 1 hour, I actually want to spend maybe 5 minutes on theory, really just to kind of give you a frame of reference, and then just dive in. You say, all right, Dr. Maurice, for example, is somebody I met through a networking event, and he is he's a doctor of alternative medicine, and he has a farm, I believe, out in I think it's Roseville, Doc, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, and he could definitely put some. Like he asked today, because I introduced the topic today, and he's like, well, what is prompting? And I think this is exactly what we want to try to accomplish in this hour, is to really take you through a crash course. And hopefully by the end of it, you're going like, holy shit, oh my God, I can do all of this. And you can actually start diving in and trying all the Seriously? Doc, you were in Durham this morning. You're already in the Bahamas? You didn't tell me you have a private jet? I'm jealous. So anyway, does that sound good? Can I just get like a quick reaction? Everybody good with that? Any thoughts or comments or opinions? All right, so let's start with the theory part. So from the theory part, and I'm going to condense, as I said, a lot of material very quickly so that we can have a proper frame of reference as we start looking at this. And I'll repeat, and I'm sorry if this is a repetition for some of you. I've been in this field for 35 years, digital and AI. I was doing AI in 88, 89 at NC State when I was an undergraduate student. And the field of AI has been around for a very long time. And I think that what I have found over the past year, teaching and working with people, is that in a behavioral change perspective, it's important for us to understand that this is not something new. It's not a monster in the closet that's coming out to get us. This is something that we've been working on, not like we, but I mean like the scientists have been working on this, computer science, mathematics, statistics. They've been working on the field of AI for a very, 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 very long time. It got started in the early 40s. The movie that we quote, that we say, go watch it, and it'll show you the birth of AI, is The Imitation Game. Cumberbatch did a great job in that movie. And it kind of shows let's say, the father of the guy that kind of thought about thinking machines that will mimic human intelligence to help us solve complex problems. And then since then, there's been a steady stream of development on. There was a conference in Dartmouth that everybody talks about. Then there was like neural networks that kind of sprung up in the 80s. We did a lot of neural network work at NC State in the 80s and early 90s. And they were used everywhere, right? Guidance systems, autonomous rovers, like you name it. Without the field of AI in the traditional classical sense, a lot of the technologies that we're currently seeing today would not be possible. And then we kind of moved on to something called machine learning, and that kind of gave rise to the best way that I can describe it is that if you look at traditional programming, so be it even for those, the old timers, Fortran, assembly, whatever, COBOL, C, Java, whatever your programming language that you've been exposed to, you take data and you write a program and you get some kind of an output, right? And in your program, you have to kind of anticipate all the potential issues that could come in the data. If this data is formatted correctly, you're expecting a number and a text comes or something like that. So it's a very brittle system in a way. And as humans, it's very hard for you to grasp all the potential possibilities that could come in the data. So that's the traditional programming method, right? Now, machine learning is different because it actually takes data and data with output. It says, if I'm looking at housing prices, I take these houses and every one of these houses in this neighborhood, these are the prices. And then I do hundreds and thousands and millions of these records. I can put an algorithm on it, or I can put basically a learning algorithm on it that will produces a piece of code that is an algorithm. It is not output, but one that you can give it information about a new house coming on the market, and it will predict what is the price of that house most likely to be. And it will factor in so many different things, like, what neighborhood is it in? What school district? How many parks there are nearby? What's the square footage? So it takes all of these things. So all of a sudden, we're beginning to mimic the intelligence of a real estate agent, mimic the intelligence of an appraiser, and kind of putting all of that together. And that's what machine learning is all about. I gave you the housing prices as an example. Now, there's so many different examples. You could look at machine failures in like manufacturing. Dr. Maurice, if we're talking about farms, you can give weather patterns. You can give your livestock. You can give mortality rates, God forbid, whatever. And then it will actually, you'd say, all right, now I want you to predict my next season.